Okay, so that time of the week, I figured I'd throw you a 954sports.com sports person of the week. I'm Matt Levine. Welcome to the 954sports.com YouTube channel. Hope everyone is doing well. Having a great week thus far as we just about hit hump day. Well, the young man I want to tell you about this week is 26 years old. Here he is right there. Number 72 in your program, wearing the black and gold of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Get your terrible towel out. That guy right there, Zach Banner, 6'8". Big guy. Offensive tackle for the Steelers, 360 pounds. Hails from the University of Southern California. Originally from Lakewood, Washington. Great football player, basketball player at Lakewood High School. I was looking it up. 2011, led the team to a state championship. Averaged 18 points, 17 boards a game. But the football prowess took him to SC. And would eventually take him to the National Football League. I like that there, the portrait, right? Makes him look like a Hall of Famer. Bloodlines rich with football talent. Biological father, Lincoln Kennedy, blast from the past. Great football player at the University of Washington. So both Zach Banner, who was raised by his biological mom and stepdad, and his biological father played in the Pac-12, which is the Pac-10 to me, always formerly the Pac-10, as an Arizona State University Sun Devil. Well, what makes this guy, well, not him, but this guy, Mr. Banner, the sports person of the week for 954sports.com here on the YouTube channel? Well, I'm going to tell you all about it. He stepped up and took a stand against anti-Semitism. In wake of the anti-Semitic remarks, which I have talked about in some videos if you have not had a chance to check out. I've done some videos talking about anti-Semitism, and I've touched on Deshaun Jackson and the nasty comments he made a couple of weeks ago. Comments that were supposed to be attributed to Adolf Hitler, as you see him there, about the Jews and anti-Semitic remarks that were false Adolf Hitler quotes, but nonetheless stinging words. And he has since backtracked and backpedaled and made his apology. But Zach Banner had the brass ones to come out and talk about anti-Semitism. He hasn't been the only one of late, and I'm going to show you what he said in his tweet, in his Twitter post, his tweet. So I'll give you the whole scoop. We'll set it up. There's Steven Jackson. He's been completely vocal. Runs his mouth back and forth with one anti-Semitic remark after another. When he gets called out, he doesn't like it. If you can't stand the heat, get the hell out of the kitchen. This dude, maybe what, 6'7", 6'8". Sure doesn't act like a big guy when it comes to anti-Semitism and taking heat for his remarks. In fact, he and Charles Barkley, who Barkley has said some things that just make all the right sense when it comes to anti-Semitism and the culture right now in sports and it being a circus. I did a video on some of his comments as well recently. Jackson didn't like his remarks, and I guess Steven Jackson had some words for Charles Barkley, basically stay out of his beeswax. So the Jacksons have been in the news. Barkley has been in the news. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the last video I did, highlighted his guest column or his regular column, I should say, as a guest writer in The Hollywood Reporter, talking about the double standards of anti-Semitism when athletes come out against racism and then come out with anti-Semitic remarks. Of course, some Jewish athletes have come out and spoken up, including former Super Bowl MVP and Julian Edelman. Become a big advocate on speaking against anti-Semitism. This guy is now a world champion, Mitchell Schwartz of the Kansas City Chiefs. Jeff, his brother, used to play in the NFL. Last played for the Giants. He had his own statement there, Mitch Schwartz. As a Jewish American in the NFL, I stand with my brothers, all races and creeds, against any form of discrimination and hate, as he says in the opening sentence. I'll leave that up there for a moment if you want to read the rest. I'll talk over it. Now, Zach Banner, who I'm going to tell you about some more and let his tweet speak for itself. In the NFL since 2017, drafted in the 4th round, 137th overall. There's some highlights there, I believe, from the Steelers. There we go. He's number 72 on the right side, throwing a nice block. Played with the Steelers. He was drafted by the Colts, waived that September after being drafted in the spring of 17, claimed by the Cleveland Browns, waived that spring in March of 18, picked up by Carolina, had a cup of coffee with Carolina, then signed by the Steelers. He's been there ever since. He's played in 14 games. He started 1. So for all intents and purposes, he's a backup lineman. Lineman not known for getting the glory, especially the backups. In other words, he's not a high-profile athlete, but he certainly spoke like a Hall of Famer as he talked about his take on anti-Semitism following him hearing the news recently regarding the statements, again, that Deshaun Jackson made. So let's take a look and listen to this young man who speaks, again, like a Hall of Famer, and he gives his thoughts.
Good morning this morning, but I haven't been able to, I'm just going to be honest, I haven't been able to sleep in the last couple hours because I woke up this morning to the news about the Deshaun Jackson and his incident with the Jewish community, and I saw his apology video, and it seems like his heart's in the right place. So understand that this video isn't even towards him, it's towards that idea and mindset that sparked it in the first place. There's a common misbelief amongst black and brown people, and I know this from growing up, and I've heard it and I've listened to it, that Jewish people are just like any other white race. You know, like it's just you mix them up with the rest of the majority, and you don't understand that they're a minority as well. I didn't know this until I went to USC, and I had friends who are now family members, believe it or not, who are part of the Jewish community, current students and alumni. And also I was here on the team, my first year with the team, a couple of years ago during the, it's just tough, man, during that synagogue shooting in this beautiful city of Pittsburgh. And we need to understand that Jewish people deal with the same amount of hate and similar hardships and hard times. And I'm not trying to get emotional right now, but I want to preach to the black and brown community that we need to uplift them and put our arms around them just as much. When we talk about the Black Lives Matter and we talk about elevating ourselves, we can't do that while stepping on the back of other people to elevate ourselves. And that's very, very important to me, and that it should be important to everyone. We can't preach equality But in result, we're just trying to flip the script and change the hierarchy, if that makes sense. Change your heart, put your arm around people, and let's all uplift each other.
That's just well said there. Put it best, right? Is that not a classy young man? Give you hope for the future. Really does, especially all that's going on in the world of sports now and how some of these athletes are representing themselves. What's the old saying? A gentleman and a scholar. And a 6'8", 360-pound one at that. And the city of Pittsburgh does look beautiful, as he mentioned. And he showed a little peek right with the camera. Just a job well done. That's an award-winning tweet. That's what makes you a sports person of the week. Now he says, change your heart, put your arm around people, and uplift each other. Right on. Amen. Just a really good kid and young man, I should say. He runs an organization. It is called the B3 Foundation. It's b3.org. And I was reading a little bit about them, and what they do is they support students from Guam, Tacoma, Washington. He has roots to Guam. He's from the Tacoma area and Los Angeles for both academics and athletics. So he's doing tremendous things, and interestingly enough, as you see him pictured here, let's get some more of that football. Number 72, right side of the line on your screen, okay? And interestingly enough, I was reading about the donations to the B3 Foundation. Has since all this had happened, there had been, since he came out with his tweet, there had been $50,000 donated as of 1 week ago, which I hadn't seen the numbers, but I'm sure they've increased. So by being a good guy, you know, you pay it forward, right? As he gets donations to the B3 Foundation. You can check that out at B, like boy, numeral 3, foundation.org. So he continues to do tremendous work. He mentioned his fraternity brothers. He was in Zeta Beta Tau, ZBT, traditionally a Jewish fraternity. And those are his brothers for life. And in some of the articles I read leading up to doing just some research, he had talked about the culture and tradition of Judaism being passed on to him through his experience in college. And he learned a great deal through his friends about anti-Semitism, and he explained it so well. Jews aren't just every other person. Anti-Semitism has played a role on Jews throughout the history of time, and it continues now into 2020. And the scary part for me is just the platforms that a lot of these athletes, I don't think the Jacksons are aware. Maybe some of the entertainers, the Nick Cannons, are just aware of how far and what a wide range and the bandwidth, that's the word I'm seeking, how far what they say can travel and the influence what they say can have. And you don't toy around in making anti-Semitic remarks and quoting Hitler. And also interesting, you know, Zach Banner, he didn't even know really what anti-Semitism was. Had to look it up. Just as recently as a week or so ago when the DeSean Jackson thing happened. There's a definition. I'll share it with you. I've done it before in my videos. This is from Webster itself, right? A horse's mouth, the Webster Dictionary. Definition of anti-Semitism: hostility toward or discrimination against Jews as a religion, ethnic, or racial group. Zach also touched on, as he started getting choked up, on the incident in 2018 at a synagogue in Pittsburgh. 11 Jews were killed. Several injured. The Tree of Life. The names of a few. And it was during his first year in Pittsburgh. So hands-on, he had hands-on experience of seeing a massacre like that. The biggest massacre against Jews in this country. The most deaths ever in one day. And again, just 2 years ago or so in Pittsburgh. You can't go wrong with quoting MLK. I've used this one before, and it's just it never gets old. Timeless, priceless. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Martin Luther King Jr. said so many things so eloquently. Hit the nail right on the head. MLK Jr. So did Zach Banner in his tweet. And talking about anti-Semitism. And I think at the end of the day, whether it's Zach Banner, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Charles Barkley, me, Julian Edelman, talking about anti-Semitism and how to deal with it. At the end of the day, we have to find a way to teach from an early age just how vicious anti-Semitism is. Just like racism, there's no place whatsoever for it to exist in sports and in society. Period. And Zach Banner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he carried that message in his own way. Again, a class act. I tip my cap to him. I wish him the best in his future. Certainly, beyond the gridiron. I think he has a future, beyond sports and his foundation, which I'm sure is going to be something he continues to build upon. God bless him. The B3 Foundation for the rest of his life. But my point being, I think he's got a place in politics. Seems like a guy that we can use in our community, in our local, in our state, in our federal government. In other words, he's a good American with a good heart, good head on his shoulders, and I thank him for preaching his good word about anti-Semitism and the place it does not have in today's world. So again, Zach Banner, like I say this for all the sports persons of the week, I'm sure they have a room and closets full of placards, trophies, awards, all sorts of distinguished artifacts of their accomplishments. But I know this much. Zach Banner, like the rest of them, has never been a 954sports.com sports person of the week until now, and he certainly deserved the honor. So congratulations, Zach Banner. Job well done.